Good Thursday morning to you. Welcome into Morning JOX, JOX 94.5. Damian Mitchell alongside John Saber. As Conrad has a couple days off on vacation, he's got the last bachelor trip that he has. All of his friends now are locked and loaded, and he has a little bachelor trip. They're going down to the beach. Hopefully, Conrad is safe and sound. But it is the top of the morning, and it's the top of the month as we flip the calendar here on Thursday, May 1st. 2025 has flown by. I will say that. And listen, man.
Are you one of those?
What?
It's today. It's Justin Timberlake's day, dude. Are you one of those?
What is that? What is it?
Seriously?
No, like, what is it?
Oh my God, dude. You live on the internet and you don't know?
What?
Do you know his NSYNC song? It's going to be me.
Oh,
right.
it's gonna be. No, I'm not one of those.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
well, chill.
yeah.
I guess I could have stopped at that. Okay,
Yeah,
right.
I'm not one.
I mean,
of
it
those.
seems like right up your alley, but all right.
No, I was confused. I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not one of my things. But yeah, it's the 1st of May. We look at 2025, of course, with this college football season as it was, the spring. He talk about teams that we're feeling good about, but we got to recap what we talked about, what we saw last night. And typically, it's fun to poke at the Braves, but it's early on in the season. But they ended up falling to the Colorado Rockies, who is the worst team in baseball. And Colorado they lost 16 of the last 17 games that they played. But they did knock off the Atlanta Braves yesterday in a score of 3-1. And, 2-1. And Chris Sale ends up giving a home run there in the third, a solo shot to Brenton Doyle. And nobody scored after that. So it was 2-1. And the Atlanta Braves fall. But listen, they welcome in the Los Angeles Dodgers. You get Freddie Freeman back to Atlanta. Hopefully we're done with the whole, crying ceremonies and the things like that. But now it's just he is public enemy number one. If you want to find yourself in the fight for Choptober, you got to find a way to beat the Los Angeles Dodgers, who are one of the hotter teams.
Find a way to get about 500.
that too. The NL East with the Phillies and the Braves, the Nationals, and the Miami Marlins. But I think for the Braves, and listen, I can attest to this as a Reds fan. We've been in the gutter for a long time. In 2 games yesterday in a doubleheader with the St. Louis Cardinals, we only scored 1 run in 2 games. So it's listen, I'm not gonna sit here and beat you up. I'm just saying that at least we didn't lose to the worst team in baseball. But nonetheless, it's a long season. That's one thing about baseball. It's not about how you start; it's how you finish. And we've seen the Braves pull off miraculous miracles over the past couple seasons. Because I think at one point in time, actually, I think it was the World Series year, they were early on in the season, they were dead last in the NL East, and then after the All-Star break, they turned things up. So listen, nobody is going to be upset. You sweep this one under the rug, you move on, and you got the Los Angeles Dodgers because you don't have time to waste. And hopefully you don't find yourself on the losing end of a series with the Dodgers. But also, Freddie Freeman returns back to Atlanta again. Hopefully, after a couple seasons, especially after he's won a World Series, you kind of just say, you know what? Hope everything goes well for you. But you left us in a high and dry.
It's not like the Braves have taken on the Dodgers this year already. You know what to face, and lost 6-1, 3-1, 5-6. It's not like that happened already. So okay, yeah, for sure.
Hey, that was early on in the season. That was listen, it's the new month. It's a new Braves unit. You just got to reset, and that's the thing about baseball. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's a marathon, not a sprint. But we also had some NBA hoops last night. I guess I'll be taking the character assassination as LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers. They fall last night to the Minnesota Timberwolves, 103-96, effectively ending year 22 for LeBron James. You added Luka Doncic there late in the season, right before the trade deadline. You catch heat, you end up making the playoffs, and it's a short trip. But also, I think that of course, a lot of our listeners, they don't really watch the NBA, but if you have, it's one of those things that, you're definitely watching the end you're definitely towards the end of whatever the career was or has been for LeBron James. The Lakers make a trade for Luka Doncic, send over AD, Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving gets hurt. That Mavericks team kind of just, they fall by the wayside, but you felt pretty good about what the Lakers could have done. But first-year head coach in J.J. Redick. And if you watch the games that they had with the Minnesota Timberwolves, one, I would not have expected that Rudy Gobert was going to have going to be one of the difference makers in them sealing a game series, game clinching win last night. But when you look at just the roster that they had, I mean, outside of Luka and LeBron, there was nobody else that you were truly worried about. I think Austin Reeves was starting to bud up into something that, could be great, but it never really felt that this was going to be the team that was going to make a deep run, to say the least. But also, I mean, if it's year 22 for LeBron, so really and truly, you start to question, man, at some point, you're going to have to give it up. But when does that day come? And, he gives you 22, 7 and 6. Luka gives you 28, 9 and 7. But then again, Rui Hachimura, he gives you 23, but that was the anomaly game. Like, it was, okay, well, what was this the first couple games in the series when we needed you? Because I think he only had like 5 points a couple games ago. So in all, it never really felt like it was piecing it all together. And J.J. Redick in his first year as the Los Angeles Lakers. And that's the thing about being a Laker. It's championship or bust pretty much every single season. You're looked at as kind of like the New York Yankees of baseball. You're looked at, for a period of time, it was the New England Patriots of football, but it's like the Kansas City Chiefs. It's, okay, well, we expect you to have this, to be in contention for a championship, but the 7 years that LeBron James has been there, they've gotten one title. They've been to the Western Conference Finals. They've been bounced out of the second round, I think, once, first round twice, and then they didn't make the playoffs in 2 years. So I look at just his overall tenure with the Lakers. It's, in the grand scheme of it, you can say it's been underwhelming, but you can't really knock it because he does have a championship. Yeah, it was the COVID year, so a lot of things were different that entire year. But I do think that when you look at his legacy, if you're going to knock him in year 22 for losing the first round, so be it. Like, we haven't seen many players make it to this point in their careers anyway and still put up the numbers that he's put up. But it's the nature of the game. You can tell that the game is getting younger, but it also flips over to let you know that Anthony Edwards, even in 15 points, it's his league for the taking. Because when you look at everything that he's accomplished so far since he's been in the Minnesota Timberwolves, like, it's not like people, like, free agents flock to Minneapolis, Minnesota to just say, oh yeah, I want to be a Timberwolf. It's either you gonna come up here and play, be my teammate. If not, you public enemy. Like, you're public enemy number one. Doesn't matter who's in front of me. And I think that the league is going to be in good hands with likes of him, Jason Tatum, Luka Doncic. Again, even in his prime, he's only 26 years old, still got some great years ahead of him. And I just think that the league as a whole is going to be in safekeeping. But then you look at what Steph Curry is still able to do, adding Jimmy Butler later into the season. Yeah, they fall to the Houston Rockets, but the Houston Rockets are such a young team. I knew it kind of slip up would happen when they took it back to Houston, but now Houston has to go and win a game 6 and hopefully get back to game 7, back to Houston in order to knock off the Golden State Warriors. But they did knock them off last night, 131-116. And just the scoring in basketball, it looks a lot different than it did even 10 years ago. Now with the addition of the three-point line, and speaking of the Golden State Warriors, they kind of changed how the game was supposed to be played with the prolific shooting and scoring that, the prime Klay Thompson when he was there. And of course, Steph Curry, what he brings to the table, that your big men have to be able to basically step out and hit a three every now and then. So I think just the style in which the game has changed, I think that's what's kept LeBron in it for a couple more years. But I definitely think, now since Bronny's, I say in the league, he's on an NBA team, you can start to see that, all right, he's starting to wind it on down. Age is always going to be undefeated. And really and truly, how long do you expect him to play at such a high level when, one, he hasn't really shown signs of stopping, but he's definitely aged. Like, he can't get up the floor like he used to. He still gets up and down the floor. But I think that for his career as a whole, you still look at it, whether you want to argue LeBron James, Michael Jordan, you can throw Kobe Bryant in there, whoever you think is the best player. To see the longevity of greatness is something that you truly have to appreciate. And no matter how you feel about him personally, it's being at the top or near the top year after year for this long. You've never seen it before. You've never seen it before, not in 22 years. because he spent more time in the NBA as he did just, he came into the league at 17 and now at 40, he's still looked at as one of the better players in the NBA. And I just think that's where you can that's where I stand on my argument of it's not just, okay, yeah, he may not have the same amount of titles as Michael Jordan, may not have all the accolades, but I look at just how you have maintained not just being good, but being great for 22 years. We only seen it. The only person you can compare it to is Tom Brady in football. And that's a whole different animal where, I mean, even him being a statue in the pocket got him 7 Super Bowl rings and 10 trips. But also it's kind of when you look at Patrick Mahomes and the trajectory that he's on, it's okay, well, the league is definitely going to be in safe hands. But I look at just, the NBA as a whole. It's different from what it used to be. It's a very unique league. It's lost a lot of its luster because, listen, I'll put it like this, just to put it in perspective. The Minnesota Timberwolves scored 103 points. They shot 47 threes and only made 7 and still got 103 points. So it's kind of just one of the leagues, like it's a make or miss league. Either you're hot or you're not. And when you got Rudy Gobert out here giving you 27 points, you kind of up the creek, but without a paddle. You're up the creek without the paddle. And the LA Lakers they couldn't find an answer for it. They went small and didn't really take advantage of the speed that they had out there. Rudy Gobert, I mean, no matter how you slice it up, even Shaq had to give him his props. Shaquille O'Neal, of all, as much criticism as he gives a lot of these NBA players, one player I know that he did not like was Rudy Gobert. But at halftime during the game, he was getting choked up. He was acting like he was getting choked up. And he's like, Rudy Gobert, he's I mean, it just felt so bad. He's like, he's dominating this basketball game. And he did. Not only give you 27 points, gave you 24 rebounds as well. So I mean,
well, I would have hoped so with 40 missed threes.
Right.
I mean, somebody's
got to grab him.
Yeah.
And he did. So just recapping what we saw last night, we'll take a look at college football. We got a chance to talk about Florida yesterday as DJ Lagway has reported that his arm is back healthy. He's back doing, football activities. We'll take a look at the SEC because I still think there's a team that I'm on the fence. It's okay, if all things go right, where realistically could they be? And if it all falls down, will they be looking for another head coach? I'll tell you who that team is on the other side. Keep it locked right here on Morning JOX and JOX 94.5.
LeBron James is the second best player of all time.
Welcome back into Morning JOX. JOX 94.5. Damian Mitchell, John Saybear here with you. Getting you set for McElroy and Kubelik in the morning. Coming up at the top of the hour, the first day of May. I knew this was going to start a discourse. I knew if I would have brought up LeBron James, it was going to get to this. As always,
LeBron James is the second best player of all time.
And again, see how the media twists your words.
I mean, you literally said that.
I know.
No twisting.
But what was the context? It was either that or admit what?
It was either that or admit
Eli Manning was an all-world quarterback.
You've admitted both.
It was the choice between the two, and I was like, I will just happily accept that LeBron James will just be the second best player of all time. But no. 175 and 175. But listen, our listeners, y'all are always welcome. 205-834-9450. As someone texts in and says, LeBron James may be third best player ever, and that's a stretch. MJ never lost the finals, and defense was better. Kobe only lost 2. Every game for the last decade is like watching an all-star game or a shoot-around. Somebody agrees with me. Says LeBron James to go to basketball. I watch MJ. He's second place. He have never seen a player dominate the game like he has for such as long as he has. Big John texts in and says, lifelong Laker fan. LeBron can't be the greatest when you flop all the time. Got no respect for him. MJ forever. Big John. That's great. Somebody says MJ is number 1. Listen, that's fine. Again, my biggest issue with it is people like to say about LeBron James' teammates and all he's had. Let's not forget, Michael Jordan has played with 2 Hall of Famers as well. Won championships with 2 Hall of Famers as well. And Scottie Pippen, who is also one of the 75 greatest players to ever play the game, and Dennis Rodman, who also is one of the 75 greatest players to ever play the game. The teammates like LeBron James had, that was, I guess you would say, top 75. Dwayne Wade. That's the only one. Shaq, you can say, Shaq is one of the 75 greatest players of all time, but he played with Shaq when he was year 13? That's when Shaq was on his Rainbow tour. He was Roy G. Biving it up, and he got him at the tail end of his career. But I also look at, that's the only discussion I usually have with when they say, oh, he's paired up with so many guys, so many teammates. No, Anthony Davis was also on that list as well. He won a championship with Anthony Davis.
You ain't putting Kyrie up there?
Oh, yeah, and Kyrie.
Okay.
Kyrie. But I say that, okay, name me a superstar that didn't win without help. Like, everybody needs a little bit of something. You look at Tom Brady, you look at he had Randy Moss. Now, they didn't win a Super Bowl, but he also had one of the greatest receivers to throw to of all time. And I think that when you look at all this, when I look at the discourse between LeBron and Michael, I get it. When you look at the league in which Michael Jordan was playing in, now the only fair criticism I understand is, okay, Michael came in when Larry and Magic Johnson were, absolute. They were must-see basketball. And then you add the Detroit Pistons that came in as of late. They had Jordan rules. They were like, hey, if he goes down this lane, he better be missing a rib. He better be missing some teeth. They changed defensive strategies for him. My thing is on LeBron James is he came in at 17 years old, 18 years old, and he had no room to fail. It's his absolute, he from the jump had to be in the discussion of being one of the greatest. And he's done nothing but that for 22 years. When I look at the resume, the man has never averaged less than 20 points in 22 years. He's given 3 franchises titles, went to 10 straight finals. Yeah, he lost some. His first year, he ran across the San Antonio Spurs against David Robinson on his way out, Tim Duncan in his prime, Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, 4 Hall of Famers that are going, 4 of them that are going to be in the Hall of Fame. He went against them with Zildrunas Ilgauskas, Delonte West, Mo Williams, Boobie Gibson. That was who he had at 22 years of age. Now I can understand the criticism of him going to Miami. Cool. That's fine. But he also played with Dwayne Wade. He played with Chris Bosh, 2 guys that are in the Hall of Fame, which is again, the same exact resume as Michael Jordan when he won his titles. He had Scottie Pippen for two of them, and then the rest. Dennis Rodman was there, and also Scottie Pippen was still there as well. So you had 2 Hall of Famers with him. Now Kobe, I get it because everybody compared him to Michael because of the attitude, demeanor. I think Kobe is number 3, which is fine, which is absolutely fine. It's the thing is the line of separation is so thin that, okay, nobody's going to argue. If those 3 are in your conversation, nobody can really have an argument. It's all right, fine. Like that's your cup of tea. I just look at it as, how can it be such an issue that LeBron has played this long and you can hold the finals against him? Cool. But think about the teams that he was going against too. Like he went against a Kevin Durant added onto the Golden State Warriors, Jason Kidd, Dirk Nowitzki from the Dallas Mavericks when he was with the Heat. And then again, he lost to the San Antonio Spurs twice with, again, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker. Like he was losing to Hall of Famers as well. But the thing is, I get it. When Michael Jordan got there, he made sure he eliminated the Gary Paytons of the world. Charles Barkley. He changed Charles Barkley's entire career because he could have had an argument of being one of the best players to ever do it as well. And he still is one of the best players to ever do it. But I just think that when LeBron James, he's changed his game and still being able to dominate and be at the top. That's where I look at, all right, I can understand, we'll start to see some signs in year 12, 13. No, he's in year 22 and he's still, leading a team to the playoffs. The game has changed and he's changed his game with it. So that's the only reason I say that, if you're mad about him flopping and stuff, all right, cool. I get it. It is what it is. But also the whole NBA has changed in this time. But we'll go back to that conversation. But I did tease a college football discussion that I wanted to have, especially with the team in the SEC. There's a team that, if all things go right, where could this team really be? And I don't know why I'm sipping the Kool-Aid, but it's the Arkansas Razorbacks. The more I dive into, and I look at, last season, you go to Jordan-Hare, you beat Auburn, a team that will start trying to figure things out. You beat a top 5 Tennessee team on the field, like physically beat them up. But you lose to the Texas A&M team. You lose to Oklahoma State, who finished the year 3-8. It's the biggest gap of how great or how good can they really be, and when the bottom falls out, it absolutely falls out. Like it is the absolute basement. But I think for Sam Pittman, it's the kind of like I think he gets a lot of the grace period because you look at, oh well, it's Arkansas. What are the real expectations? I think for Arkansas, they'll tell you like they expect to win and they expect to be in the fist fight with a lot of these games, but it's their style. Bobby P is back at offensive coordinator. You saw the inconsistencies of Taylon Green, but I look at it from the optimistic lens of, if Taylon Green figures it out, you cannot deny the talent. The run game is definitely going to be a staple of any Arkansas team. Like we've seen the KJ Jeffersons of the world lead this team to double-digit wins. And Treylon Burks in college. I mean, it developed to one of the better superstars in the SEC that we had seen in a long time at the receiver position. But when I look at this team this year, okay, you look at the biggest thing that Arkansas had working against them last year is they had no bona fide just number one receiver. Andrew Armstrong ended up being okay, but he wasn't, he wasn't the fastest of them. He had a big body, but even he was a little inconsistent. Yeah, Isaac Tesla, who started to emerge later on throughout the season. But I look at Arkansas and I just think, okay, if Taylon Green figures it all out, and Bobby Petrino dials it up offensively to take a lot of the pressure off of him, it's hard not to think that this Arkansas team can't be dangerous. Now their schedule, on the other hand, I can understand where you probably say, well, let's pump the brakes a little bit.
Kind of, yeah. They relatively out the gate. Yeah, you start off with Alabama A&M, which I assume you and Don are going to go to, and then Arkansas State.
Right.
Then you're go
on
to
the road.
Ole Miss, who you've lost 5 of the last 7 to, haven't beat
They scored 60 on you last year.
And you hadn't beat in Oxford since 2017.
Mm-hmm.
You go to Memphis, by the way.
And and think about it. That's a toss-up. Like, that's one of the games where if you don't play your A game, you could be on the losing end of that. Then you welcome in.
Then, oh, by the way, Notre Dame rolls to town.
Exactly.
And then welcome to life in the SEC at Tennessee, Texas A&M, Auburn, Mississippi State. And then to close out the year at LSU, at Texas, Missouri. And you're high on this team.
I am. Okay. Because I do think that, one, that you've shown it last year in spurts, that the biggest thing for them is just finding consistency. And I think that, they have a good ground control. Like, they manage the game well. It's just they have to capitalize on the opportunities that they have. Like, you look at the Auburn game last year and the turnovers that they caused. You look at Tennessee. They had a team that literally they made it to the playoffs, they had them on the ropes. And not one point did you feel like Tennessee was ever going to figure it out, because defensively it gave Nico fits. Of course, Dylan Sampson ended up running pretty well, but I think that for Arkansas, it's okay if they find themselves in a lot of these fist fights, and nobody knows what Notre Dame is going to look like after, playing for the national title. I'm expecting a little bit of a regression. No Riley Leonard, and some key pieces on the defensive side as well. Who knows where they're going to be? Now, Ole Miss, maybe Austin Simmons is that guy. We saw him for a drive against Georgia, and all signs show that, okay, he's the next quarterback up in the Lane Kiffin system. But also, this is a team that hung 60 on you last year at home. Like, it was over with rather quickly. Memphis, the group of 5 team that, nobody really wants to play a lot. Like, it's like, oh man, if Memphis clicks, they can find themselves on the losing end. And then Texas A&M, from this time you get them at home, but most of the time it's been neutral site, where it's felt like Arkansas should be able to win that game, but yet they find reasons to lose it, because I think last year they had a couple turnovers that Texas A&M took advantage of, and that was kind of the end all be all. But who's to say that Auburn, again, maybe Jackson Arnold by October 25th is still kind of having those mental hurdles. You slip up and get them at home. Mississippi State, I know I'm wearing a shirt, but I don't feel confident about that team. Now at LSU, Garrett Nussmeier's, he has a game or two where he helps the team that he's facing out. Like, you look at Texas A&M last year, turn the ball over. At Texas, don't really feel too confident about that one. But Missouri, I don't think Missouri is going to be even close to where they are. So I think when you look at Arkansas, they are kind of in that they're in that middle ground of a good to great season, 8-4, but 9-3 with a couple upsets. Or they could just find themselves in the model in the same inconsistent route where maybe they're looking at maybe they're looking up to 6-6. Like, they're feeling they have to win the games they're supposed to win, and then the other games just go exactly how it's planned.
In the last, I think since 2016, Arkansas has played LSU and Missouri every single year.
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas has won a total of 2 games in that span between them two.
They lost, I know, was it 2022 or 2023? 21. That was KJ Jefferson against the first year J.D.
To be fair, both years, that was the same year. They beat them both.
Yeah.
But that's the only year since 2016 that Arkansas, they've won once against both LSU and Missouri.
Man.
Since 2016. Again, hadn't won in Oxford in 2017. Since 2017, have lost 5 of 7 against the Rebs. But okay, yeah, we're high on them. And again, welcome Notre Dame to town. 34-10 was the score last year between LSU and Arkansas.
But again, I just think that for Taylon Green, I think it's the talent in which he is. Like, I think that Bobby P has found a way to make it work. It's just if they had,
this team reminds me a lot of like the other team that you mentioned that you got into yesterday was Florida, and that they very well can improve and have a worse record.
Yeah.
Or maybe not a worse record, but they can improve, but their record not improve as much. Yes, yeah. They can be a better team, but still lose 1, 2, 5 games at least. I mean, they made the bowl last year, but
Yeah.
whew. I mean, they could be 5-7 and still honestly be a better team.
I know, man. It's just, like you said, welcome to the life of the SEC. But I just Arkansas is kind of like that team where if you told me if you tell me at the end of the season that they went 8-4, and I look at their schedule, it's okay. They pulled off some upsets along the way, but also again, like I look at last year, they had the Oklahoma State game won. Had it won, they were up 21-0, and then a turnover happens, and then it was just a snowball effect from that point forward, losing overtime. But then it seemed like everything was clicking when they got to Auburn. They played Auburn, and Auburn turns the ball over. Arkansas grounds and pounds them, and it's okay. Well, yeah, they're figuring things out. Then they beat Tennessee, that team that was nobody had that loss on their resume. Like nobody really saw that one coming, and they beat them in prime time. They're just so yin and yang. But I think that this season, year 2 for everybody under that offensive system and defensively, with Travis Williams taking another leap up and on the defensive side of the ball, I just think that for Arkansas, to me, it's the confidence that I have. It's more of hopelessly optimistic. Like they can't be as bad as their record shows, but they're also exactly what their record shows. That's all that comes down to it, because no matter how you slice it up, I mean, you can look at Texas A&M last year. Texas A&M, all they had to do was essentially win out the last couple games, and they would have been in the college football playoff. Had they beaten Texas, they would have been in the SEC championship. And then, the revolving door at quarterback, once they figured out that, hey, Marcel Reed is just going to be our guy, they'll rock with him. The Auburn game happened. And then Texas happened after that. You couldn't find a stop defensively. I just think that when you look at the middle pack of the SEC, you can have an argument for just about every team. With the Texas A&M, you look at, Auburn, you look at Arkansas. I think Tennessee is now in that boat. Florida, like there's such a logjam in the middle that there's no true separation unless your name is, Alabama, Texas, Georgia, where unless you prove to us that you're not out of the middle of the pack, you're still going to be looked at the top. On the other side, we'll continue with your reaction. 205-834-9450. Am I crazy for believing in Arkansas? Who do you think that surprise team could be in the SEC? We'll hear from you on the other side. Keep it locked right here on Morning JOX and JOX 94.5. 6:38 here on Morning JOX, JOX 94.5. Damian Mitchell, John Saybear here with you. Do want to give you a report. Our thoughts and prayers are with our coach Wimp Sanderson. His wife passed away, Annette, and just want to send condolences to Coach Wimp Sanderson, as somebody that we know and love here on JOX 94.5. Praying for him and his family as they deal with the loss of his wife. If we know Coach, he's one of the funniest guys that you'll ever talk to. But he took care of his wife for a long time, and she was dealing with some health issues. But again, thoughts and prayers with Coach Sanderson there, him and his family. Continue the conversation here with some of the SEC. We actually got a question about Kentucky heading into the fall of 2025. Trying to be as classy as I possibly can. Not really. I'll just put it like this: not really high on Kentucky heading into this fall. Now they did knock off Ole Miss last year. That was probably the only high point you had the rest of the season. It just doesn't fare too well for Kentucky. One, hey, listen, maybe Zach Calzada going to Incarnate Word, maybe he has a Cam Ward like resurgence back in the SEC, because we did see him knock off the number one team in Alabama it was 4 years ago. He goes to Incarnate Word, lights it up. Now he jumps back to the SEC as the quarterback for the Kentucky Wildcats. You also lost Barry and Brown in the transfer portal, but you got Kendrick Law from Alabama. I guess tit for tat. Barry and Brown, he's gone to LSU with all the speed and the playmaking ability that he has, but he had some drops. I do think defensively, last year you took a major step back. But when you look at the schedule for Kentucky, it's one of those ones that you look at and kind of similar to Arkansas. If you hadn't played an SEC schedule before, you definitely got one now. You open up with the Toledo Rockets. You're 1-0. Good start. You get Ole Miss, a team that you beat last year. Don't necessarily think you get them this year, but you get them at home. You have Eastern Michigan after that, then a bye week. Then you're on the road at South Carolina. Then you're on the road at Georgia. Now, you played Georgia tough the past couple seasons. It's just the style in which fight that you welcome with Georgia. You don't have the Jimmies and Joes to go blow for blow. Now, you throw some haymakers. You catch Georgia. You've rocked them a couple times, but you just hadn't necessarily got over that hump. They've been competitive. They've been physical. You just hadn't won them. Then you have a bye week. And then the tail end from October 18th to November 29th looks like this. You get Texas at home, get Tennessee at home. You're on the road in Jordan-Hare to take on the Auburn Tigers. Then you welcome back the Florida Gators at home. You have Tennessee Tech, sprinkle that one in there. You're on the road at Vanderbilt, which you can't laugh at them no more. Like that. That's one of those teams that, hey, you better have your chin strap buckle. You better be ready to play. And then you wrap up on the road at Louisville. It just does not fare too well. Like, again, what we've seen from Zach Calzada in the SEC leaves a lot to be desired. And you're fighting an uphill battle. I'm just going to put it like that. I don't necessarily have the confidence that Kentucky goes. I don't even think Kentucky goes bowling. It's just going to be too tough. And again, maybe you pull off another upset on one of these teams throughout the year, but I just don't know if consistently you can stack up wins after win after win. Now, I will say this, Tennessee, you've taken Tennessee pretty tight outside of 2022. You've taken them pretty close for a couple years as Josh Heupel's been there, and you get them at home. Maybe you catch them on the wrong night with them still trying to figure it all out offensively that, hey, you may pull off an upset against them.
In your lifetime, Damien, you just turned, 33, if I remember? Just had a birthday. But in your lifetime, Kentucky's beaten Tennessee 3 times.
Mm.
In your lifetime, Kentucky's beaten Georgia 3 times.
So you're telling me there's a trend there.
You're the one saying, "Oh, they've gotten close a couple times."
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
Like they've gotten close.
That's great. You can get close.
Yeah. I mean, they play tough. They play hard. I will never discredit them on that.
They do that in Lexington. This past year, Georgia won 13-12. 2 years ago, Georgia won 16-6. 2020, they won 14-3. 2018, 34-17. Back in 2016, it was 27-24. So, okay.
So in Lexington.
Maybe they keep it close in Lexington. Yeah, it's in Athens. So, okay.
It's gonna be a tough sled. Somebody texts in and says Kentucky misses a bowl again in 2025 and still keeps Stoops when John Summerall's out there will show that they aren't a serious program and they only care about basketball. Fair enough. But also, if you're John Summerall, you're probably like, man, I don't know if I want to step into the mess that Mark Stoops leaves behind. But again, like I've preached that, Mark Stoops, I respect him, but for him to be in the conversation of one of the highest paid coaches in the SEC for the product that you get, and you also had Will Levis as your quarterback. So any decision that you had after that, I'm not getting jiggy with. Casey
was this before or after you bought the jersey?
He was out there. He was a Titan.
Okay,
he was a Titan.
Oh yeah, he's yeah. Oh okay. All
listen,
right.
listen.
You went all in, Mister. Oh, I can't rock with him. Oh, I can't.
Where did he play when I was all in? Tennessee. He was a Titan fan. I was two-tone. I was blinded by the two-tone blue. Casey texted. He says, if Auburn wins 10+ games this season, I wouldn't be surprised. If they didn't make a bowl game, I also wouldn't be surprised. A few SEC teams fall in this category for me. And I think that's where the conversation of the SEC goes. It's who do you really have confidence in going into the season of, okay, yeah, this is one of the best teams. Is it Texas because of Arch Manning? Is it Georgia because it's just reload? Is it Alabama because of, the reloading aspect of the guys that they are returning? If they figure out at quarterback, are the pieces around them still going to be enough? Is it Auburn because of, again, the same thing? It's the receiver position, no question about it. It's the quarterback position. Is it LSU? If their defense makes 0.5% better, if they are just 1% better than they are last year, LSU is that team for me. They have too many things going right for them offensively that, okay, if they're going to air raid this thing, by God, they got the quarterback for it. It's just, can he stop throwing it to the other team? If he does that, they're going to be good. Ole Miss, if Lane Kiffin had the best team that he had assembled last year and they still didn't make it to the playoffs, where are they at in the pecking order now? South Carolina, they snuck up on some people last year, and now Lenore Sellers comes back. It's, hey, all eyes on 16. What can they do? There's a lot of SEC teams in the middle to upper tiers that are just, if everything goes right, they could be having a conversation of them being in the playoffs. But if all goes wrong, you're fighting for a Liberty Bowl spot or the Music City Bowl. You find yourself in those conversations. But we'll continue to get your reaction on the other side. 205-834-9450. Your text message, your calls. Keep it locked right here on JOX 94.5. 6:51 here on Morning JOX. JOX 94.5 here with you for a few more moments as I get you set for McElroy and Kublik in the morning. Let me tell you, we talked about Kentucky Blue in the last segment. Let me tell you about Blue Chew. It's your secret weapon for performance in the bedroom. By now, you know Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, Levitra, and Staxin in chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. It's performance enhancement for the bedroom. It can help men gain confidence, extra confidence when it's time to perform. It's an online prescription service, so you don't have to worry about going to the doctor. No awkward conversations, no waiting in line in the pharmacy because it ships right to your door. And let me tell you about the free offer we've got going on. You go to bluechew.com. You get your first month free when you use our promo code JOX. That's JOX at checkout. The only thing you have to pay for is $5 in shipping. That's bluechew.com. Use promo code JOX, JOX, to receive your first month free. And as I do every single time, just chew it and do it. We got some reaction on the JOX text line 205-834-9450. Going back to, of course, the Michael Jackson and LeBron James. Michael Jordan and LeBron James debate. Cody texts in and says LeBron was watching his son stinks. Just Google what Michael Jordan's son is out here doing.
Yeah.
I say if you want to bring the kids involved,
Right. I mean, like
there's
you
worse
said,
things that LeBron could be doing.
It's like you said, Michael Jordan's always around Hall of Famers.
Somebody texted in and says nobody's been shot over some LeBrons. That is true. Let's see. Lewis says, like I told my son, MJ won with class and the demeanor of I'm going to win and there ain't a damn thing you can do about it.
Class.
Right. He literally.
Okay.
Didn't he choke Steve Kerr for not
a little bit maybe?
Right. Didn't he choke his own teammate for not passing the ball? Like, come on now.
All the expletive talking he did. Okay.
Yeah, right.
All right. Right. Yeah, he won with class. All right.
Right. Have you
Come
seen
on
the
now.
conversations he's had with referees?
Yeah. Come on now.
And he still don't like Isaiah Thomas. Like,
Right. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
He still like,
Literally kept him off the dream team.
exactly. But he won with class.
Christian Leitner on there. He won with class. All right.
Okay.
We out here pretending he's a saint, but come on, he won with. All right. Come on.
Somebody takes in, Phil. I feel like the NBA and the officials changed the game for LeBron James. I think he's allowed to get his stats due to the officiating, and the NBA knowing that he was going to be an all-star, making sure he was. I don't think the refs had anything to do with it. Yeah, somebody texts in, he broke Steve Kerr's nose, but he won with class though. That's what I want as a teammate. Somebody will break my face if I'm throwing the ball. Like, get out of here. Somebody said, Josh takes in, he says MJ had the greatest coach ever, which certainly helps. And LeBron was winning an MVP at the same age MJ was getting bounced in the first round. Oh boy. Okay, say it with your chest. Somebody says Michael Jordan didn't have to team hopper build/recruit all-stars to get a ring. His play made everyone else step up and excel. I think it was just his play that was excelling. LeBron's legacy was, Bobby takes in and says, LeBron's legacy was sealed after the Warriors series, and we all know that was the most legendary moment in NBA history. It was.
Okay. All right. We had to do to score 100 points in the game, and this is the
We
most
hadn't seen the tape.
Okay.
We ain't seen the tape. We've got clips from Oscar Robinson. We've got clips from Pistol Pete, but ain't nobody got the 100-point Wilt Chamberlain game. I still think that's like NBA's biggest conspiracy theory. I don't think it really happened. I think Kobe's 81. We all synced it. Jalen Rose, what he said, got 47 of those 81.
But even still, 81, we've at least seen.
We've seen.
You're telling me that one. Okay, all right.
Oh man, somebody texted in. To be fair, nobody likes Isaiah Thomas. I ain't got a problem with him. I didn't think he did anything wrong, but that Mike and Isaiah still runs deep. McElroy, Kublik in the morning. Those guys are next.